CreepyCorner stories.
The title says it all. My ex disappeared last year. I just found a video of her chained up and being fed her own skin. Now I have to ask you, if you ever stumbled across a video like that on the dark web, would you watch it all the way through, or would you slam your laptop shut and pretend you never saw it? Be honest. Comment below, because I really want to know what you'd do. And don't forget to subscribe if you want more stories like this one. Now, let's get into it.
I found a dark web live stream from my old Facebook account. The person using it looked like me. What's up, Reddit? I'm using a burner account to post this, cause I don't really know who or what's watching my main one anymore. I've never been the type to write on here, but I swear, something deeply messed up is going on, and I need to get it off my chest before it drives me insane. So, a little backstory before I get into the meat of it. I'm 22 now, but when I was 13 or so, I had this crusty old Facebook account. You know the ones. Embarrassing selfies, poke wars with random classmates, those weird Bitstrips comics everyone used to post. I ended up forgetting the password and just made a new account in high school. Never touched the old one again. Never even thought about it. That was until 3 weeks ago. I was working late at a Starbucks in Brooklyn. I'm a freelance graphic designer, and I like the noise. When I got a notification on my phone, it said, "Someone is trying to log into your Facebook account from a device in Bucharest, Romania." Like, huh? I don't even use Facebook like that anymore, and definitely never been to Romania. But what caught me even more off guard was which account it was. The email tied to the notification was for my old Facebook, the one I hadn't touched in almost 10 years. Naturally, I ignored it. Just assumed it was some bot or spam thing. But then it happened again. This time, I actually checked the login attempt, and it had gone through. Someone was in. I panicked a little, obviously, but then curiosity got the better of me. I tried logging into the old account through Facebook Recovery, and somehow, and I still don't know how, I managed to get in using an old Gmail recovery email I hadn't used in years. When I got into the account, man, that's when this whole nightmare really began. The profile photo had been changed. It was a selfie of me, but not any selfie I remember taking. It looked recent, like last week, kinda recent. I was wearing a hoodie I don't even own. My hair was styled differently, a little shorter on the sides, like how I used to wear it 2 years ago. But the creepiest part, I wasn't looking into the camera. My eyes were slightly to the left, like I was glancing at someone off screen. The background? It wasn't my room, or anywhere I recognized. It looked like some dim gray basement, unfinished drywall, a single hanging bulb, and shelves with what looked like jars of something dark inside them. My heart started beating faster. I checked the photos info, uploaded at 3:12 a.m. Same day, I got the login notification. I clicked around more. The name on the account had been changed from my cringy middle school username to livehost_033. No posts, no status updates, just this one link in the bio. Catch me live, every night, exclusive content, not for the weak. darkweb/livehost033.onion. Now listen, I'm not proud of this, but back in high school, I had a brief little edgy hacker phase, mostly just browsing creepy stuff on Reddit and watching those top 10 scariest deep web stories on YouTube at 3 a.m. so I kinda knew how to access a .onion link with Tor. I know, dumb move, but I couldn't help it. There was a link on my Facebook account with my face. I needed answers, so I booted up Tor, masked my IP with a VPN, or so I thought, and pasted in the link. It took a while to load. The screen went black. Then, red text popped up. You are not alone. Stream. Starting. Soon. I felt cold, like actual chills. I stared at my laptop, debating whether to close the window. But before I could decide, the screen flickered, like old VHS static, and the stream went live. It was me. Well, it looked like me. He was sitting in that same gray basement I saw in the profile picture. Same hoodie, same dead-eyed stare. But this time, he was smiling. Not a normal smile. One of those stretched, forced, unnatural grins that make your stomach knot up. Like he was trying to mimic what a smile should look like, but didn't really understand how. Then I noticed the chat on the side of the screen. There were actual people commenting, like dozens of them. He's back. How long tonight? Bet he brings another one out. That's not a smile, Lamau. Does he ever blink? I just sat there, completely frozen, trying to wrap my head around what I was watching. Then, the camera panned slightly, and there was a girl, tied to a chair in the corner of the room, duct tape over her mouth, eyes wide and red like she'd been crying for hours. That's when I slammed my laptop shut so hard, I think I cracked the screen. I felt like I was going to throw up. I looked around Starbucks, but no one noticed anything. Everyone was just scrolling TikTok or sipping cold brews, like the world wasn't falling apart. I ran out and sat on the curb for what felt like hours. My hands wouldn't stop shaking. I tried to tell myself it was fake, maybe some kind of ARG or horror project, but deep down, I knew. That was real. The girl was real, and the person on that live stream, he wasn't just someone who looked like me. He was me. I didn't sleep that night. Not a second. I just sat on my floor with my back against the wall, knees up, laptop closed, like it was a live grenade. I kept replaying what I saw over and over again. That basement, that smile, that girl, that face, my face. But there's something about trauma that messes with your brain. It doesn't let things stay frozen. You start wondering, did I really see what I thought I saw? Was it a deep fake? Some AI-generated horror clickbait thing? I mean, it's 2025. People make insane fake content every day for views. Maybe it was some sort of viral prank. Maybe someone stole my photos from years ago and reconstructed a deepfake model of my face. But I knew. The eyes. You can't fake the eyes. They weren't dead. They were aware. The next morning, I did what any idiot would do when they're in way too deep. I started digging. I connected the Facebook account to an old Yahoo email I hadn't touched in years and started combing through the inbox. There were hundreds of spam messages, obviously, but one thread caught my eye. The subject line said, "Upload schedule confirmed." The sender, streamadmin at crimsonvale.host, not Gmail, not Outlook, not even some sketchy Russian domain. It was from Crimson Vale, which, as I would later find out, is not a regular hosting service. It's a private server that only exists on Tor, and most people on the regular internet don't even know it exists. The email was short, just a few lines. Tuesday, mask on, 9 p.m. EST. Live with subject number 82. Make it last. Friday, close session, disposal protocol, document everything. There were also 4 attachments. I know I shouldn't have clicked them, but again, my curiosity beat my fear. The first one was an image. It was a screenshot of a live stream window. My doppelganger, standing behind a woman tied to a chair with a burlap sack over her head. Her arms were already bruised. The image had a caption in red, almost like it was stamped in blood. Live host 033, subject number 82-USA, 23F, taken at 4:31 a.m. from Williamsburg, Starbucks. I almost dropped my phone. That's where I was when I saw the first stream. I went back and checked the security footage from my Apple Maps timeline. The Starbucks had closed at midnight. I stayed until around 12:30, but I remembered there was a girl who had come in just before closing. Blonde, denim jacket, studded backpack. She sat at the window, ordered a matcha, and barely sipped it. She was real. And now, she was gone. The second attachment was a video file. I watched 2 seconds of it and shut it off immediately. It was recorded through some kind of fisheye lens. A person, male, was lying on a concrete floor, shirtless, twitching like he was having a seizure. But there was no sound, only this high-pitched, metallic ringing in the background, like someone dragging a knife across metal. The third attachment was a Word document. It looked like a script, like literally a written plan. Scene 1, entrance. Scene 2, first scream. Scene 3, smile wide. Scene 4, introduce the subject. Scene 5, audience interaction poll. Scene 6, pick the tool scene. 7, thank the viewers. Scene 8, end her. Each line had checkboxes next to it. The ones I saw were all marked off. The last attachment, it was just an audio file, about 20 seconds long. It started with white noise. Then, my voice, but not any recording I remembered making. It was me saying something I've never said in my life, in a tone that didn't feel like mine. She's still breathing. We need to fix that. Squelching sound, then silence. By now, I was losing it. My hands were shaking uncontrollably. I deleted the email, disconnected from my Wi-Fi, and shut everything down. I sat in silence, trying not to scream. The worst part wasn't the footage or the documents. It was the realization that whoever or whatever this was, they were documenting everything like it was art. They weren't just torturing people. They were writing scripts, uploading schedules, collecting fans, building a brand. It was showbiz for psychopaths. I ended up crashing at a friend's place that night. Didn't tell them anything. Just said my building had a gas leak and I needed to crash. I didn't even sleep, just kept one AirPod in while lying on the couch, listening to rain sounds while my heart tried to explode out of my chest. Around 3:30 a.m., I got a text. No name, just a random number. You left the stream early. We're not done yet. I swear to God, my lungs stopped working for like 5 seconds. I opened the message, and the location pin dropped right after. The address? It was the apartment I had just left. That's when I knew. He knows where I am. I took an Uber at 4 a.m., got back to my place to grab a few essentials. Passport, laptop, hard drives, cash. My door wasn't broken, but it was unlocked. I always lock my door. Inside, everything was exactly where I left it, except for one thing. Taped to the center of my mirror with electrical tape was a Polaroid photo. It showed my living room couch, the one I was currently looking at, and in the photo, I was asleep on it, wearing the same hoodie I'd worn the day before, same blanket, same position. Only, I never took that photo, and I hadn't been sleeping. I'd been awake the whole night, which means someone else took it from inside my apartment. There was a message written in red marker on the back of the photo. You look better in person. 033. I left that night, took the first bus to Philly, stayed in a motel that smelled like bleach and cat piss. Every corner of the room had a motion sensor light, and every time one turned on by itself, I almost threw up. But even then, I couldn't stop thinking about the video, about the girl in the Starbucks, about the way his face looked when he smiled, like he had worn my skin before and liked the way it fit. I went deeper. I'm not proud of this part, but I started posting anonymously on some of the darker forums on tour, places where live horror is a legitimate category. I pretended to be a fan, someone looking for the good stuff. I talked in code. I used phrases like real-time experiences and no actors, only believers. After a few days of posting, someone finally messaged me. They didn't use a name. The profile picture was a blurry photo of a hole in the ground, surrounded by candles. Their username was HostSeed. They sent me a link to another stream, but this one didn't go live until the next Friday. The only thing in the chat was a countdown timer and one message pinned to the top. Subject 85, he's ready to meet you. And underneath that was a photo of me standing outside that same motel in Philly, holding a coffee from the gas station across the street, wearing the exact same clothes I had on. I had never taken that photo, but someone had. I didn't go back to the apartment right away. I stayed in that roach trap motel in Philly for 4 more days. Barely spoke, barely ate. I kept all the lights off, sat in the farthest corner from the window, and watched the crack under the door like it was about to bleed. Every night, I checked the live chat for that same .onion stream, the one HostSeed had sent me. The countdown kept resetting every time I opened it. I wasn't sure what the exact time was supposed to be, but each time I logged in, there were more people in the chat. Hundreds. Names like Red Rumor 47, Stitch Snuff, Face Eater X, just casually talking like they were waiting for a concert. They had no idea I was the concert. But on the 5th night, something changed. There was no countdown, just a blinking red message at the top of the page. Live now. Final showing. Host 033 Briss. Host 000. The screen flickered to life without me clicking anything, and there it was again. That basement. Same flickering bulb, same concrete floor, but this time it was empty. No girl, no tools, just a chair and a mirror. I stared at it, heart racing, palms wet, until he stepped into frame. Him? Me? Or something wearing my face like a borrowed hoodie. He walked up to the mirror and stared directly into it, but it didn't reflect him. It reflected me. I wasn't even in the room, but my face, the real me, was staring back at him from that mirror. And then he said my name, my full name. First, middle, last. He said it like he was chewing on it. I like how it fits. He smiled. Then he pulled something from behind the chair. It was another mirror. This one had words scratched into the glass, deep like someone used a nail. He isn't watching you. You are watching yourself. He held the mirror toward the screen like it was a camera, and suddenly my laptop's webcam light turned on. I hadn't touched it. He waved. I slammed the lid shut so hard the power cord ripped out. I left the motel 15 minutes later, Ubered to my apartment. I didn't care anymore. I couldn't run. I needed answers. I needed proof that I wasn't hallucinating or in some messed up augmented reality ARG nightmare. It was about 3 a.m. when I arrived. My apartment building was quiet. No lights on in the hall. No sound. I lived on the 4th floor, but the elevator was under renovation, which is code for don't ask questions. The landlord's broke, so I took the stairs. Every step echoed like a scream. When I got to my floor, the hallway light was flickering. One of those slow, seizure-inducing flickers that makes shadows look like they're breathing. The second I stepped out onto the carpet, I noticed something was wrong. The air felt wet, not humid, wet, like walking into a basement full of mold and rotting meat. The kind of smell you don't forget, like something inside the walls had died and decided to keep rotting forever. My door was open, not cracked, open, like someone wanted me to walk in. So I did, because at this point, either I was going to find out what the hell was going on, or I was going to die trying, and I didn't really care which anymore. The moment I stepped inside, everything changed. My apartment wasn't mine anymore. It was rearranged. Same furniture, same walls, but it was like someone had recreated it from memory and got the details slightly wrong. My couch was flipped. The TV was off, but buzzing faintly. My fridge was open, and the light inside was red. There were no groceries inside, just one thing, a raw pig's heart in a plastic sandwich bag, labeled for later. On the floor, in the middle of the room, was a trail of photos, not printed, Polaroids, fresh ones, still curling at the edges. Each one was of me, sleeping, eating, typing, showering. One photo was a close-up of my eye, closed. Another one showed me brushing my teeth, in the mirror, but I live alone. The trail led down the hallway, to my bedroom. I didn't want to go in. Every part of me screamed to run, but the door was already open. Inside was him, me. He was sitting on my bed, wearing my hoodie, the exact same one I had on, face down, hands on his lap, breathing slow. I said nothing, just stared. Then he slowly lifted his head, and it wasn't just my face anymore. It was like someone had built a face using pieces of mine, like a mask made from the wrong parts. The eyes were mine, but wider, too wide. The mouth was longer, cheeks stitched slightly higher than they should be, like someone had tried to smile permanently. He whispered, "You're not using this life properly." And then he stood up, his hands, black, not like gloves, like rot, like his skin had been dipped in ink and left to dry and crack for weeks. I backed away, but he didn't follow. He just walked over to my mirror, stared into it, and whispered something. I didn't hear it, but my mirror heard it, because the reflection didn't show me anymore. It showed him, alone, standing behind me. I spun around, but no one was there. When I looked back, the mirror was cracked, and the word host was carved into it. I left the apartment that night. Haven't been back. I stayed in hotels, cheap ones, moved every few nights. But the live streams didn't stop. Now, they were everywhere. Every time I opened Twitter, I saw new accounts following me with the same profile pic, a tooth. Just a close-up photo of a human molar, stained yellow, sometimes cracked. Every time I opened TikTok, my For You page showed glitchy, sped-up clips of basements, hooks, Laughter played backwards. My Spotify started randomly playing a song called Hollow Guest, a track that doesn't exist. It sounds like something recorded inside a metal pipe. 23 minutes of metallic dragging and distorted whispers. The only lyric is a voice, deep and slow, repeating one sentence. You were never the first. 3 nights ago, I got a USB drive in the mail. No return address. Just a black envelope with the same tooth symbol stamped in wax. I didn't want to look, but I did. The USB had one folder. End feed. Inside were 2 videos. The first was footage from the motel in Philly. A security cam angle showed me walking out the front door. 10 minutes later, someone else walked in. Him. Except this time, he didn't look like me. He looked like someone else entirely. The body was mine, but the face kept shifting. Every few seconds, it would glitch like a corrupted video file. One moment, it was me. Then a girl. Then an old man. Then a child. All smiling. The second video was titled host_000.mp4. It started black, then slowly faded into a room. Stone walls, chains, a table in the middle. Someone was lying on it, tied down, covered with a sheet. A voice behind the camera whispered, "Which version do you want?" And then the sheet was pulled back. It was me. The USB drive haunted me long after I unplugged it. I threw it into the East River at 4 a.m., watched it sink into the black water like it was still breathing. But that doesn't erase a thing. I still see the footage when I close my eyes. I still hear that voice, the one behind the camera, asking, "Which version do you want?" I never answered out loud, but something chose anyway. It started that same night. I got back to my motel around 5 a.m. The hallway was silent, the kind of stillness that doesn't feel empty. It feels pregnant, like the walls are holding in screams that want to burst. I unlocked the door, but it wasn't locked. Someone had left it cracked. Inside, the air was colder than outside. That's the first thing I noticed. The second was the smell. Not rot, not death. Something worse. Sterile. Clean. Like a hospital operating room. Metal. Bleach. Ice. The third thing, my laptop was on. Open on the bed, and someone had been typing. A Word doc was full of a single line, repeated 173 times. Host 000 is waking up. I yanked the power cord, pulled the battery out, and threw it across the room. My heart was vibrating in my skull. Every cell in my body said, "Run," but I didn't. I opened the motel closet instead, and found a mannequin wearing my clothes. Not just my clothes. The same hoodie I had thrown away in a hotel trash bin 2 cities ago. Same jeans, same scuffed Vans, but worse. It was wearing my face. Not a mask, not paper. Skin. The lips were stitched shut, and pinned to its chest was a Polaroid. Me, sleeping, in that room. From above, I checked the ceiling. There was a small black hole drilled into the drywall, no larger than a pen cap. Not there when I checked in. And from the inside of that hole, I swear to God, I heard breathing. Not a wind sound, not air conditioning. Actual nasal breathing. I packed in 2 minutes and left without checking out. I never went back. I started to realize what this was. This wasn't a copycat. It wasn't someone pretending to be me. It was something that was learning me, feeding off footage, reflections, sounds, data. Every camera lens, every mirror, every microphone I'd been near since the first live stream. It had been watching, building me. And now, it wasn't building me anymore. It was building host 000. I learned more than I should have. In the weeks that followed, I kept following the crumbs. Every trace of live host 0, 33, and host seed and Crimson Veil. I tracked it all. I went on deep subforums that get purged every few days. Digital graveyards where freaks and collectors trade murder clips like baseball cards. I found something buried in an encrypted .zip file hosted on a hidden wiki clone. Took me 3 days to get into it. The file was titled root host archive 0.11.bnk. Inside, an old forum thread dated December 2003, before Facebook even existed. The username was Operator33. The post had no title, no body, just a link. Dead now, but the comments are still there. People asking, how did you make the faces move like that? This isn't CGI, right? Is she breathing? Someone said they could hear her whisper in the left channel. My mirror hasn't worked since I watched this. It's him again. Same voice, same noise behind the walls, same smile. Somewhere deep in that thread, someone responded, "You can't host 000. He was never supposed to be awake. That's the price of mirrors." I didn't understand that line then, but I do now, because mirrors have rules. They're not just reflections, they're recordings, tiny delays, glitches in symmetry. Your eyes don't quite match. That's not you looking back, not perfectly. It's a ghost of a version of you that never got to be born. And host 000, he's that version, the one left behind. And something is letting him out. I confirmed it 2 nights ago. I was in Denver by then, stayed in a tiny rental house off Colfax, tucked between a vape shop and a boarded up Domino's. I avoided mirrors, covered TVs with sheets, threw my phone in a microwave, bought a burner with cash, and used it only to check one forum thread once per day. But it wasn't enough. I woke up to find my own footprints leading from the front door to the foot of my bed. Bare feet, wet, as if something had walked in from the rain. Only, it hadn't rained that night, and the prints didn't lead out, just in. I checked the cameras I set up, the ones hidden in the hallway and above the doorframe. At 3:12 a.m., every feed went static for exactly 33 seconds. When it came back, I was on the bed, and something else was standing at the foot of it, tall, wrong, wearing my skin like a child wearing his father's suit. And it smiled, not at the camera, at me, sleeping, like it had finally decided which version of me it liked more. Then, the last camera, the one I had hidden inside the microwave behind the burner phone, caught something horrifying. The screen blinked white for half a second. Then, in thick red static, one final message appeared. Host 000 is fully loaded. Live show begins 72 hours. Viewers 43,191 and counting. That was yesterday. Since then, I've been receiving packages, 5 in total. No return address, each one worse than the last. Box 1, a VHS tape labeled First Scream. The tape inside was melted into the shape of a screaming face. Box 2, a key, cold metal, rusted, no note, just a GPS coordinate etched into the side. Box 3, a bloodied hoodie, mine, the one I was currently wearing. Box 4, a burned cell phone, screen cracked, still flickering, with one message. He's already inside. Box 5, a full-length mirror, wrapped in burlap, dripping. I haven't unwrapped it yet, because I know what I'll see when I do. I won't see myself. Not anymore. I'll see the final version, the one that's ready for the live stream, the one that's been collecting me piece by piece, reflection by reflection, until it finally had enough data to replace me. They say you can't film a ghost, but you can record a person so many times that the ghost inside them starts believing it's real. And then it starts to act. And now, I think I've been watching my ghost come alive this whole time. Every live stream, every mirrored surface, every TikTok I thought was glitching. It was him, learning, waiting, becoming. I never unwrapped the mirror, but I didn't have to. It unwrapped itself. I turned my back for a moment, no more than 10 seconds, to lock the motel door, and when I turned around, the burlap was on the floor, wet, shriveled like it had been boiled. The mirror stood there, tall and wrong, reflecting a room that wasn't mine. I was standing in the middle of a roach-infested motel in Denver, but the reflection behind me showed something else. A long, narrow hallway, lit by flickering industrial lights, the walls smeared with streaks of something thick and dark. The floor was concrete, wet. The air in the room changed, cold now, heavy. I reached out and touched the mirror. It was warm and pulsing. It's not a mirror anymore. It's a door. Every camera I passed in public started turning toward me. I tested it. I went into a 7-Eleven, bought a bottle of water, and as I walked out, the tiny plastic security camera by the gum rack twitched, physically twitched like a neck snapping, to follow me. I walked past a city bus, and I swear I saw my reflection in the windows, but it didn't move when I did. It was lagging, slightly off, and it was smiling, my smile, but wider. I stopped checking the countdown after the mirror unwrapped itself. I didn't need to. I could feel it, in my gums, my spine, behind my eyes, like something was inside me now, crawling deeper each hour, dragging cords and wires with it, splicing me open from the inside out. The live stream didn't start at midnight. It started at 7:33 p.m., the same time I was born. I got a notification on my phone. It wasn't from an app I installed. It just said, "Live, you're on camera." When I opened it, the stream was already going. Almost 50,000 viewers. The screen showed me, in the motel, sitting on the edge of the bed. The camera wasn't anywhere in the room. It was behind my eyes. That's when I realized I wasn't in control anymore. They had uploaded me. I wasn't being watched. I was the camera. The chat was flooding. He's waking up. He's glitching. LOL. This is the part where the scream happens. Is this the real host or the seed? Why is he shaking like that? He's not gonna make it to the hallway. Watch the mirror. Watch the mirror. Who's that behind him? I turned toward the mirror, and there he was, host 000, but not wearing my skin anymore. He wasn't pretending now. He wasn't mimicking. He had become. His skin was mine, yes, but he had grown into it, like a vine wrapping itself around a corpse until the corpse blooms. His eyes were full of static, not metaphorically. I mean literal, glowing, flickering TV static. They buzzed. When he opened his mouth, it wasn't words. It was dial-up noise, analog distortion, data screaming through meat. He stepped through the mirror, and so did I. Now let me tell you what happens on the other side, because you won't believe it until it happens to you. You don't just see them, you feel them. Every subject, the girls, the men, the children, all the missing faces, the ones no one ever finds again, the ones that slip between surveillance, vanish between GPS pings. disappear from their apartments without forced entry. They're all here, and they're still watching. Their eyes are plugged into walls like sockets. Their mouths loop the last sound they made before they vanished. One boy, couldn't be older than 10, just keeps whispering, "I'm not real. I'm not real. I'm not real." One woman is stitched into a mirror, not behind it, into it. Her mouth is sealed with glass. Her tongue keeps twitching against the surface. They're not dead. They're recorded, looped, streamed, glitched into eternal broadcasting. The sound of the place is wet. Everything drips. Not water, not blood. It's data. Corrupted, infected code leaking out of failed uploads, like someone tried to digitize souls and left the files open too long. Host 0. 00 guided me through the hall, not with words, not with motion, but with echoes. He played the sounds of my own footsteps before I took them, and I followed until we reached the room, the studio. Every piece of furniture from my life was in there. My elementary school desk, my old bed from when I was 9, my mom's kitchen table, the chair I lost my virginity on. Every object I've ever touched, even briefly, was here. Not replicas, not props, the real things. They had peeled them out of the timeline and placed them in this room. The walls were covered in screens, each one showing me thousands of versions in every possible permutation. Me crying, me smiling, me screaming, me choking someone, me being choked. Then one screen changed. It showed you. Yes, you. Reading this. Right now. This second. Look behind you. No, really. Because he's on his way to you next. This wasn't just my story. It was a relay. Each host carries the next seed. Like a virus. A breadcrumb trail. And when you opened this, you clicked the next breadcrumb. And now he's watching you. Not with cameras, not with lenses, but with reflections. Go ahead, look into your mirror. If you dare, watch closely. Count to 3. On the 3rd count, your reflection won't blink with you. It'll be just slightly off, just long enough for you to notice, just long enough for him to slip in. The stream is still live. Viewer count, 139,918. Status, host, 0, 0, 0. Integration, 99%. Soon, it won't be a stream. It'll be a broadcast. To everyone. Phones, TVs, billboards, virtual reality headsets, rearview mirrors, polished doorknobs, anything with a surface. He's going to replace the world, one reflection at a time. And you? You've already started. The moment you read the title, the moment you opened your screen, this was never a story. It was the final upload. And now, you're part of the stream.